Hey, hi, it's Jen, also known as BPD Woman. Thanks so much for tuning in today's video. On this channel, I discuss managing borderline personality disorder, or BPD, how to live with it, how to manage it, how to be effective, how to reach your goals. And I like to talk about common things that have helped me and problems that I encounter along the way. I am not a doctor or a therapist or a life coach, but I am someone who has lived with the disorder and managed it for the past 20 years. I've read about every single book, every article. I've been in DBT, and so I'd like to think of myself as a associate expert, if you will. By no means do I have all the answers. So if you like what you see here, please subscribe, share. You never know when doing so might help others. And above all, please share your stories down below. Your comments help strengthen me. So today I want to post a couple of videos about emotional dysregulation. What is it? How to manage it? How does it happen, right? So one of the DSM criteria for borderline personality disorder, and I am paraphrasing here, is fluctuating moods, right? Up and down moods, experiencing strong anger, strong sadness, and strong happiness all in the same day. You may hear your friends or loved ones say something to you like something that's especially triggering for me that has been emotionally dysregulating is when I hear a loved one or a friend say, it's really high highs and really low lows with you. Like, that really gets to me. And I'm going to do a separate video on triggering phrases. However, today I want to talk a little bit about what emotional dysregulation is and how we get on what I call, or what others have called, the emotional Ferris wheel. So we all have an emotional baseline, right? This is what people know you to be in and day out. The normal Jen, the normal Jeff, the normal Ashley, whatever the name may be. So people know you as this. And we can often tell, by someone's emotional baseline if they are having a bad day, right? Like someone who's normally pretty talkative and outgoing and social at work or in another setting may be quite withdrawn, right? Or not talkative or down or low energy, right? So that may be a deviation in a person's emotional baseline. Now, emotional dysregulation happens when an event or a sequence of events, or even just, something that somebody may say to you triggers us, right? So for me, a couple of my triggers in becoming emotionally dysregulated, I'm just going to go through some of my notes here. Some of my triggers are traffic. A big one for me is when I feel I'm being ignored or I am ignored. Waiting for texts to come in can often be super triggering, right? Like, texts can be so fast right away, right? I tend to be pretty quick on my replies. And if I don't hear back from somebody right away, I start to panic, right? We talk about, worrying. Are they mad? Are they not my friend anymore? Have they blocked me, right? So let's go with what that is and this emotional dysregulation. When you become dysregulated, you begin to become more prone to other triggering events, or more emotionally susceptible. Let's talk about it like that. Kind of like having emotional fibromyalgia, right? So let's say you're fine, right? And you go out the door and you find that someone's dinged your car door, right? Like, now there's like a level of frustration. You go to work, you're late, it's raining. If you live in this area, it's raining and there's traffic and it's backed up and nobody's moving. Now you're more irritated, right? You get to work, you're late for a meeting. Now you're feeling some shame or you're disappointed. That person in the office or whomever, your mom, your dad, they say something irritating to you, maybe in a text or on the phone or in an email, and you're like, this is, and now you're revving up, right? Oftentimes, when we become emotionally dysregulated, it's hard for us with BPD to kind of stop, take a break, regroup, and proceed mindfully. There's a really great DBT skill, and it's called STOP. And it stands for the following. When you're becoming emotionally dysregulated, you need to stop what you're doing. T is for take a step back. O is for observe what's going on inside of you. Are you feeling self-doubt, self-shame? Are you feeling justifiable anger, but it's not appropriate to act out in an emotionally destructive way? Are you feeling tired or hungry? Or is there something in one of your basic needs that you're not getting met that day? Are you feeling lonely, perhaps? Are you feeling isolated because we're in the middle of a pandemic and you're not really socializing very much? And P is proceed effectively and calmly. Oftentimes, and learning these skills is hard, and practicing these skills and then having these skills become intrinsic, it takes years. The best piece of advice that I ever had from a therapist when I said, how long is this going to take? How long is it going to take until I'm better? She's like, Jen, it will take years. And she's right. And now these skills come to me a lot more easily, and I can do them without thinking about them too much. It's important when you're feeling emotionally dysregulated to use the stop technique, because not doing so and continuing to act on emotion will also be detrimental, right? If you are, let's go back to that situation work, if you're now revved up from the ding in your car, the backed up traffic, you're late for work, someone says something to you, and then maybe your boss comes and you snap at them, right? Now you're in more trouble, right? And then you're on that Ferris wheel and it's continuing to go. And now you're thinking, great, am I going to get in trouble? Is HR going to say something to me? Is this going to reflect badly on me? I'm going to be homeless. You start catastrophizing, right? Like, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to become homeless. Like, I'm going to be friendless. Like, I'll never get better. This is the cycle of the emotional Ferris wheel or emotional dysregulation. So if you just take a moment to stop, take a step back, observe, proceed mindfully, it can really help you nip that emotional dysregulation pattern in the bud. Now, there are obviously times when you're going to feel more masterful in being emotionally regulated, and there will be times when you're not. For me, it comes down to some really basics. Am I eating? Am I sleeping well? Am I getting enough socialization? Am I feeling rested? Am I taking enough me care, right? Like for me, baths and massages and yoga are very relaxing to me. It's important to make sure that you're doing your self-care, whatever your regimen may be, because when you are feeling more rested and hungry, you're operating at the best you there is. And that means there's less room for you to become dysregulated, get on that Ferris wheel, and perhaps create other problems for yourself. Drugs and alcohol are another thing. I am a sober person. I used to heavily partake in drugs and alcohol. And that was a real problem. And at the same time I was doing that, I was still trying to go to therapy and still trying to take, the prescribed antidepressants or anti-anxiety medicines. I'm not a doctor or therapist, but I can definitely tell you, choose one or the other, in my humble opinion, because otherwise one's counteracting the other one, and it's just kind of a waste of money and energy. So be mindful of the drug and alcohol consumption. We've all, been in that low state where maybe we're drinking and we reach out to an ex with a text message, or, we do that 2 a.m. call, whatever, or we tell somebody how it really is. Again, those are things that can really start getting you emotionally dysregulated. And I think for me, where the emotional dysregulation really comes from is this sense of shame and ineffectiveness and mastery. When I have felt that I have, been the best me, not taken things personally, been careful with what I say to people, be understanding, be validating, being a good friend, being reliable, being on time. You know, for me, being reliable was not always the thing. You know, now people are like, you're super reliable. That's a huge check plus for me, you know. So, but when I wasn't those things, I felt a really low sense of self-esteem and shame, which furthered that cycle of being on the emotional Ferris wheel. But at any time, you can open that Ferris wheel, get off the ride. The final thing I'll say is that being around people that are understanding and supportive of you, of your therapy, are, I think, super, I think they're vital. I think they're key. You know, like, I've dated people who thought therapy was stupid. I mean, they belittled me. I would use some of my skills. They would laugh. They would, you know, be negative about them. That's super detrimental. And that's not something that's going to help your mental health, your emotional baseline. It's just not. So just to recap, getting off of emotional dysregulation and helping you get off that emotional Ferris wheel. 1, take care of your self-care and your needs. You're sleeping, you're eating, exercising, you're getting massages, playing with the dog, whatever it is in your routine. Keeping to a routine is very helpful to maintaining your emotional baseline. 2, make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who are understanding and supportive of you. They don't need to know everything. They don't need to be therapy goers, but they at least need to be positive about your endeavors. And 3, use the stop technique. Stop, take a step back, observe, proceed mindfully. I hope that this video has been helpful, and I'd love to hear your comments below. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye.